I'm Sharifah Hardie, and I'm inviting you to tune in to my all-new show, In the Studio with Sharifah Hardie. You'll never know who's going to stop by the studio, who you're going to see, who you're going to meet, who I'm going to introduce, and I know a lot of people. So you definitely want to tune in to In the Studio with Sharifah Hardie on Saturday. Check out who you'll meet next, or if you're interested in being a guest, want to promote your business, visit the website at AskSharifah.com. Hi, it's Sharifah Hardie, and I am in the studio, and I'm excited to introduce you to a lady that I call my friend. She is so supportive, and when you hear about her, she's going to blow you away with what she has going on. But before I go ahead and introduce today's guest, I definitely have to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors support my Black business. We're raising $1.5 billion for Black businesses. So if you're a Black business, you definitely want to go and create your campaign. Or if you're not, definitely want to go ahead and support them. And we have to thank our cameraman, Mr. Andre Bailey, for all of his support and everything that he does. So we want to support his business. Hey, you never know. You might need a new digital virtual photo album. We'll be right back.
Support My Black Business is a reliable GoFundMe type crowdfunding platform specifically created for Black businesses. Our mission is to close the racial wealth gap by supporting Black-owned businesses and helping them grow. Through this powerful platform, Black business owners can create a campaign in just minutes and raise money. It is simple to launch and manage on the go, or participate in our mission to help us to create a better tomorrow by donating to our Black businesses. All donations go directly to making a difference for our cause. Your small support can change a lot of lives. Don't wait. Black business owners need your help. Just go to www.supportmyblackbusiness.org and create your campaign or donate today. Together, we can make a difference.
Do you have an event coming up? Let HTH Productions capture your favorite moments in a beautiful, personalized virtual photo album. With our extensive range of timeless designs and color schemes, we can turn the most valuable day of your life into a lasting memory and create a virtual album that is uniquely yours. Order your own virtual photo album today so you can treasure it for years to come. Call us now at 916-613-9324.
Thank you for tuning in, and definitely want to go ahead and share the show because we're going to have a lot of information that we're sharing today. But I want to go ahead and introduce my dear friend, Dr. Zulmara Maria. Dr. Zulmara is an award-winning Latina. She's an educator, inspirational speaker. She's an author, blogger, and entrepreneur, inspiring women to soar while being grounded in their ancestral roots. As the founder of Roots and Wings, Dr. Zulmara endeavors to inspire others to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually for peak performance. Dr. Zulmara has authored 3 signature programs: Millionaire DIVAS, ABRAZOS of Gratitude and Appreciation, and Reclaiming Your Divinity. She is a ceremonial priestess who employs many different modalities to help individuals reach peak performance as they cultivate gratitude and appreciation in their lives. Welcome, Dr. Zulmara.
Thank you. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here on the Sharifah in the Studio show. I am really looking forward to spending some time with you and talking to your guests today, because this is an incredible opportunity, and I just thank you for having me on the show.
It's an incredible opportunity to be here. The basis of the show In the Studio came because I know so many different people, and I want to introduce my audience to some of the incredible people that I know. And one of the things that I've seen about you, and it has been consistent, is that you're always willing to help people in some form or fashion. Let's talk about, why are you so passionate about helping people?
I'm really passionate about helping people. You're right. And I have a lot of different things that I do in order to help people. I'm an educator by training. I started my career off as a kindergarten teacher, and I've worked in education all my life. Currently, I work for the Cal State system as a director, and I also run Roots and Wings. Roots and Wings is my passion project. And in that passion project, I spend a lot of time, and like you said, I've created 3 signature programs. The very first one I did was Millionaire Divas, and it was to help women get past their money blocks. Mm-hmm. Women who have issues with having money, earning money, making money, who don't feel like they ever have enough money or who have just enough. How do you get past those blocks? So I have this great program where I help people think about where those blocks came from and how do you get rid of them. My other program is ABRAZOS, and with ABRAZOS, I help people get steeped in gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I write daily ABRAZOS every day, and they show up on my social media. And then during Latin Heritage Month in between September 15th and October 15th, I do a special abrazos just on gratitude. And I help people deepen their gratitude practice. Because once you're living in gratitude, you find that the whole world opens up for you. And then my third one is Reclaiming Your Divinity. And that's where I do a lot of the Ceremonial Priestess work. I do a lot of work with crystals. I do a lot of work with healing and readings, and a lot of work on helping people tap into their spirituality to help them get into peak performance.
Wow, I love it.
Yes.
I want to pick it apart though, because there was a lot of information, and I know you. I've known you for years,
Yes.
so I'm a lot of very familiar with some of the things that you have going on. But I want to go back to introduce some of those aspects to people who are just now meeting you. Abrazos. What is an abrazo?
Abrazos is hugs in Spanish,
Okay.
and so abrazos are a daily abrazo from your spiritual self. And every day I put out a hug. Just a hug that you get, and it's just a little saying, and it's a hug. It shows up on my social media, and it's just something to put a smile on your face. And the ones that are about gratitude, it's a time for you to just take a deep breath. And I go through and teach people, how do you create a ceremony around being grateful every day? Just 5 minutes of lighting a candle, doing some breathing exercises, saying thank you, and then getting yourself grounded so that you can start your day feeling really good. Or if you've had a really difficult day, going through that same process of spritzing yourself with some smudge spray, lighting a candle, saying thank you, and just being in the moment and finding that you get a good night's rest because you've let everything go and just released everything that didn't serve you during that day. So I have people use abrazos in a way of deepening your gratitude practice, either in the morning or in the evening, or sometimes you're just waiting for somebody who's late. And I suggest that people just scroll through my page and find an abrazo and just read them, because they'll just put a smile on your face and you'll be like, okay. And it helps you get centered, and it helps you calm down, and it helps you stop that monkey mind. When you find yourself with a monkey mind and all of these different thoughts and all these things you need to do, and you're working yourself up and you're like, I need to vibe higher, because you find your vibe is getting low, you just take a deep breath and you say, okay, I got this. And then you just center yourself and say thank you. And then you're back in peace, and you cultivate that inner peace.
Yes. How do you know when your vibe is low? What does that look like? What does that feel like?
To me, it feels like my energy is dragging. So my vibe is low when my energy is dragging. When I'm looking for a cup of coffee, or I'm looking for a piece of chocolate, or I'm looking for something to eat, that's when I know my vibe is getting low. Or when my mind is spinning, like somebody does something on the freeway and cuts you off, and you can't stop thinking about that idiot that did this, that, and the other thing. And you're just like, you know what? I just need to let that go. He's gone. I'm fine. But sometimes something happens. It could be something in the supermarket. Somebody says something to you. You read something on Facebook, or you read something on Instagram, and it just gets you going. That's those people I call them energy vampires. They're like taking your energy unbeknownst to them, and you want to get your energy back. And you know your vibe is going down when your mind is spinning, or you're looking for something external, like that cup of coffee or something to give you that pick me up. And that's when you know you need to breathe. Take a deep breath and then let it go, and just say, okay, I'm releasing all of that.
Mm-hmm. Do you find, because some people say, okay, well, that sounds good. That sounds wonderful. They have this idea of getting in this Zen state, and that's fine for people who live on the mountain away from all the stresses of the world. It sounds good. But how do we actually incorporate that and include that in every aspect of what many consider our real lives?
In your real life. And that's why I have people start with for me, it's just 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes of getting grounded and being in gratitude. And then when I need more, sometimes you'll find that there's things going on in your life. You get a phone call from a sister, an uncle, a friend, and it's got you spinning, or somebody that is near and dear to you comes and tells you that that they're getting a divorce or they have cancer. That's when you find you need a little bit more, right? So the 5 minutes might not be enough. That's when you need a walk on the beach, toes in the sand, because you need to get grounded into Mother Earth. You need to go play in the dirt. People will find that it's very healing to do plants and to be in the garden. It's very healing to walk on the beach. Sometimes you need to get better flow in your life. You feel like you're stagnating and you want better flow. Walking in the water at the beach. We're really lucky here in Long Beach because we live right by the beach. But if there's no beach near you, just getting in a bath or taking a shower will help get flow going again. So when you feel like you're stuck or you're stagnated, you might need bigger guns. I find that sometimes lighting a candle, blowing it out, and watching the smoke is enough to get you to release. You just see that smoke is releasing everything that doesn't serve you at this moment, and you're just letting it go. And it's a very strong visual of just, I'm letting all of this stuff go because I'm not going to own it. And so, yes, as a matter of fact, I was talking to somebody the other day about how I am not one of those, I want to go live off in the mountains, on the mountaintop kind of people, because I have to have a Zen moment. I like living in the hustle and bustle of a city.
I do too.
I like it energizes me to be in a city. I don't think I could be a top of the mountain person, but I'm going to lead a retreat to Machu Picchu because I think every once in a while, it's important for us to get away, to regroup, to get grounded, to get centered, to get reflective, and to get retrospective on who we are as individuals. Where are we going? What's the next phase in our lives? Would I do that forever? No, a week is more than enough for me to be up there. And the week includes like a couple of days in the mercado where there's a lot of hustle and bustle. It includes eating at a restaurant. I'm not I'm not one of those top of the mountain gals who's going to be, I'm going to live my life up here. But I enjoy the hustle and bustle, and I get energized by other people. I get energized by the energy in the city, but I do think it's important every once in a while to get away and just let everything go, regroup, and get recentered.
Now, I had a guest, one of the guests, Dawn Whitty, wonderful person, wonderful friend of mine. She came in, I think it was last weekend. I don't know. Time is all over the place these days. But one of the things that she does is she loves to go to Africa to help the children in Africa. And I asked her, what was your experience like upon your return? Did you look at the world different based on where you were? So I want to ask you that same question. Do you ever take a trip and go away to the mountain top and then come back and see Long Beach? Just Long Beach, any different in what way?
Oh, yes. Absolutely transforming when you go away. So I went to Peru and Machu Picchu in 2017, and I had an incredible experience when I was there. As a matter of fact, that was when I came back and realized that I was going to be a ceremonial priestess. And I started training to become a ceremonial priestess. And so I now do healing ceremonies. I do prayer circles. I do drum circles. And I help people heal in different modalities, especially when they're feeling stuck. And it really enhanced the practice that I was doing because I was already doing Millionaire Divas, but being able to bring in these other modalities really made a difference. And when you're at the top of the mountain, you get clarity, you get vision. I'm a journaler, so I journaled a lot of the time I was there. But I do writing journals, but I also do visual journals. A lot of people do vision boards, but I'll do a visual journal where something will come to mind visually and I will capture that. And sometimes I've worked with people who I can't write. I'm not going to cut pictures out of a magazine. So now I've had them do, like your friend was talking about at the very beginning, the digital photo album. If you're a very visual person, then a digital photo album is a perfect way to journal and capture those thoughts. I know a lot of people I'm not a writer. I can't journal. I wish I could. Or, I try and I start that If writing isn't your strength, then don't try to journal, because that's just going to frustrate you.
Right.
And get into doing something like a visual, like a digital journal,
Right.
because that will just enhance everything that you're doing. So I help people work through their modalities as opposed to everybody has to write in a journal, because I know
Right.
that's not for everybody. But yes, I do find that when I go away and I come back, it does transform the way you see yourself, and it transforms the way you see others. And it helps you get, for me, it really helped me get clarity on what I wanted to do next and where I was going next.
One of the things I think, I just love, so many things about you.
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I have a list, though, more than anything else in this, I just love your humbleness. You're a very humble person, and you do readings, and you do this and you do that, but you always come from this space of love and this space of compassion. I've never seen Dr. Zulmara just like blow up or, belittle people or anything like that. You've always been, to me, I always feel like you're a Tia. You know what I mean? Like everybody's Tia, like everybody's, somebody that no matter what, you can go to and talk to you and speak with you. And one of the things I've always said to readers that I pick up on and I hear is they will tell you, okay, well, the card said this, or the stone said this, or whatever their choice of modality is. And to me, not to judge anyone, but when you're allowing the modality to lead, that just tells me the level on what you're operating at, the frequency and what you're at. But what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, is let's not focus on the modality. The modality is a means to an end to get to the message that you're trying to deliver. But these are different modalities that can be used to get there. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, and it's so funny you should say that, because when I do readings, I don't just pull out cards and read. I start with a cleansing, and I start with a grounding and a blessing. And then when I pull your cards, the first thing I do is I ask you, why did these cards come to you today?
Right.
Because it's not about why do I think they came to you. It's more like, why did they come? And it gives people pause, and they'll start thinking about, what are the messages from the guides and the guardians? Why did they send these cards to you today? And people will think about it. And then we have a conversation. It's very rare that I will say, this is what's coming through to me for you. It's more like, I want to know where you're at and where you're engaging. And I want to connect at that level, because I want to connect with your energy and connect with that at that level. So it's a very different kind of reading. It's not going to be one of those, oh, this is what's coming through for you. It's more like, why is this coming to you right now? What is it that's going on in your life? Or what is it that's going on that you need to heal, that this is what's coming up for you right now? And yet using different modalities, using sound, using cleansings, using blessings, all of those things make such a difference.
Right. But you also mentioned one of the things I love is you're like, okay, we're doing all of that, but there's a blockage in the money.
Yes.
Like if you haven't, right. So talk a little bit about how you got to that point where because a lot of times people will, especially with spirituality, people don't want to talk about money at all. Right. They feel like, oh, people really truly believe that money is the root of all evil. So they're like, let's push it away. Let's not talk about it. Let's reject it. You could go to some people even for healing modalities, which they say they do. And I'm like, okay, well, what's your rate? Well, I just, and it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like,
you have to have a price. You have to have a rate. You have to have something.
Right. If this is your business,
if this is your business, you have to do a business. So I started Millionaire Divas, and Millionaire Divas was incredible to me because it was a download. I was working on Reclaiming Your Divinity, and then all of a sudden I had this like switch, and in less than 24 hours I had this whole curriculum. And it's definitely about helping women get rid of these blockages, like money is the root of all evil. If you really believe money is the root of all evil, you are never going to have money.
Right.
If you believe that money is hard to come by, money is always going to, because your beliefs guide your actions.
Right.
And your beliefs undergird your values. So I help people understand what their beliefs are that keep them in a state of poverty or in a state of just enough. Because oftentimes what we do is we have just enough money, right? And if you want to live in abundance, you have to get rid of some of those things, that baggage we carry from childhood. Money grows on trees. I teach people a little blurb, and it says money grows on trees, money grows on trees, money, 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 money grows on trees. And I have them say that over and over again, because one of the things we hear in childhood is, do you think money grows on trees? Money doesn't grow on trees. Money can't grow on trees. We can't get this because money doesn't grow on trees. And you get this and you internalize this lack, or money is the root of all evil. So I work with people on, how do you get rid of those ideas? And how do you even know which ones you have that make it so that you have to flip those thoughts? Because these underlying beliefs, unbeknownst to you, are the ones that keep you saying, well, I don't know how much I'm going to charge. Well, I don't want to charge too much. Well, I can't make too much money. And you have to get to that space where you say, you know what? I want it all, and I'm going to have it all. And I want to have a lot of money. And I talk a lot about happiness and money, because the other thing we hear in our society a lot is that happiness doesn't buy money, and you can't buy happiness. And even though you have a lot of money, you can still, and I'm like, I want to be one of the rich, happy people. There's nothing wrong with being rich and happy.
Right.
And there's no reason why being rich makes you sad or being poor makes you happy. I'm like, you know what? I grew up poor, and I was a happy person. I was poor, and now I'm rich, and I'm a happy person being rich. One has nothing to do with the other. So I help people disassociate those things. And I work specifically with women because, and I think this goes back to my own childhood and my mom, who was poor, and she was in a very violent relationship, and she had no way to get out. And so helping women not feel stuck, especially if they're in a situation that they need to leave in, but they feel they can't because monetarily they don't know what they're going to do. That has been my driving push behind a lot of this. You know, people will ask you, where does your drive, where does that come from? It comes from having grown up in that kind of a family where I'm saying, you know what? I'm breaking those ancestral ties. You know, there's going to be no more poverty in our family, and it's okay to be happy and rich. You don't have to be one of the, and you can be a really good person and be rich as well. You don't have to be one of the evil rich people.
Right.
That's the other thing that I teach. Just because there are some rich people who are evil doesn't mean that you need to decide you're going to be an evil person. You can say, you know what? I'm going to be rich, and I'm still going to be a good person.
Yes.
And I'm going to be rich, and I'm still going to be a happy person. And does money make me happy? No. It doesn't have to buy happiness. That's just a crazy thing that our society says. Money is just money.
Yes.
It's an exchange of energy.
Yes.
And it doesn't make you happy or make you sad. You can be happy regardless. But, you know, I tell people, you just have to choose. Choose to be a rich, happy person and decide that that's not a part of who you are.
Yes. No, but I believe that. I have so many people, they make it an or. Like you can be rich or you can be happy.
Right.
You know, like, but that it's not that you can be rich and happy at the same time.
Yes.
And I truly believe, and I've seen as my income and my wealth has increased, like there are so many issues that I simply was able to take care of because I had the resources. So don't just look at it like, oh, that's just money. No, it's the resources to be able to do things. And I had an interview with Dr. Isabella, Shaman Isabella. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she changed my perception in an interview years ago, because every time someone reads for me, they're like, Sharifah, you're going to have so much money. You're going to have money, 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 money. You know, you're going to speak in front of forums full of people. And it was kind of overwhelming me. And I was like, oh my God, all this money, you know, and I'm like, I don't even know. And Dr. Isabella said, but look at all the good you can do with this money. And she was like, all the food you can plant, all the farms you can create, all the housing you can, you know, but that's why I ask myself now, and I tell people, you know, how can I do good or be of service if I don't have any money, if I don't have any resources? That's what all the resources are for, to be able to help people, to be able to help the community. And so that's the good that I want to do with all the resources that are coming in.
And it's interesting you should say that, because one of the very first things I do in the Millionaire Divas workshop is I have you think about 4 things.
Okay.
One of them is, once you become a millionaire, how are you going to give back to the people that helped you along the way?
Right.
How are you going to have fun and enjoy yourself? Because if you're not having fun, why bother?
Right.
How are you going to support those causes that are near and dear to your heart? Because they're there for a reason. Those are our God-given courses,
Right.
Causes like it's either animals or it's the homeless or it's domestic violence. But all of us have something that pulls at us, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to do that? And then how are you going to pay it forward in a way that nobody knows? This is your behind the scenes. I'm helping here, but I don't need to be given a lot of credit for it. This is my way of quietly making a difference. So I have them think about 4 things before they even make their millions. It's like, what are these 4 things? And it's about knowing that your money has a purpose beyond just sitting in the bank and saying, oh, I have a lot of money, right?
Right.
You're going to be championing those causes that are near and dear to your heart. You're going to be giving back to the people that helped you along the way. You're going to be having fun. You're going to be having a good time. And you're going to be quietly supporting something. It's between you and your God, you and your spirit, you and your higher power, what it is that you want to make a difference at, but you don't need the pats on the backs.
Right.
You don't need the accolades.
Right.
That's something you're doing just for you.
Right.
Because I think that's important, that we have something that is just ours and that we nurture it and we grow it.
Right.
In one of my offerings for Millionaire Divas, after you've done the 6 weeks, I have an opportunity for people to then work with me one-on-one.
Okay.
And when you work with me one-on-one, I do change your money story, change your life, because everybody is living the money story they believe in.
Right.
And whether you're rich or whether you're poor, you are living a money story. And if you want to live a different money story, you have to understand the story you're living. So we go way back and look at your childhood, and I basically interview you for a while, and then I write down your past relationship with money, your current relationship with money, and your future relationship with money. What is the relationship you want to have with money? And then we talk about different ways that you can instill that new relationship with money in your life. And it's a way of helping people understand that whatever your circumstances are right now around money, that's because that's the story you tell yourself.
Right.
And if you're living in poverty and you don't want to live in poverty, you're telling yourself a poverty story.
Tell a new story.
You have to change the story you tell yourself. If you're living with just enough and you'd like to get past that, going paycheck to paycheck, then you need to get beyond living the just enough story.
Right.
And you have to live the abundant story.
Oh, wow.
And so you have to get past where you are and say, yeah, I'm living in abundance.
Yes.
And how do you get there? And then we outline some steps that you can take to get from where you are to where you want to be, understanding why you got there in the first place by going through and digging into your past a little bit to figure out what were some of those things you kept hearing as a kid. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. All people with money do this, that, and the other thing. Only it's easier for a poor man to get into. It's easier for
it's harder for a rich man to get into. No, what is it? It's easier for a camel to get through an eye of the needle than a rich man to get into heaven.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something.
Y'all got
like
the but whatever it is, the point is it's hard for a rich man to get
into heaven. It's like, no, God loves rich people.
Yes, I believe that. That's what I tell people all the time. God, I believe God says it is my pleasure to give you the kingdom.
Yes.
So if we don't have the kingdom, it's not because God doesn't want us to have it. It's that, like you said, there's some blockage that we're like, no, if I had the kingdom, then I would be a mean, evil person. No, I don't want that. And then I just literally push the kingdom away.
And that's why we have things like as above, so below.
Yes.
As within, so without.
That's why I clean. So that's clean. Yes, because I'm like, if my house, my car is dirty, I will go as without, so within.
Yes.
I will literally say that to my car. And it's just me. I'm like, no, because this is a reflection of my mental state of where I am. And if everything's dirty and a mess and all over the place, that's where I am. So I always want to keep everything clean and fresh and, abundant.
And it's really exciting when people start realizing those, they'll have those aha moments where they're like, oh, I didn't know that. I was working with one woman and she's like, oh my gosh, now I know why I have so many money blocks. She had this very strongly held belief that all rich people got divorced.
Oh, wow.
And she didn't want to get divorced.
So she didn't want to get rich.
So she didn't want to get rich. And she didn't realize until we were having these, she goes, oh my God, I can see where I'll never be rich because she realized one of her values and one of her beliefs was associating being rich with getting divorced. And since and I'm like, poor people get divorced too. She goes,
they just have less to split.
She's like, I know, but rich people always get divorced. I'm like, not necessarily. You can be rich and married.
A lot of rich people stay together because they don't want to split, share their toys. Assets. You know what I mean? They're like, no, you stay in that wing, I'll stay in that wing. You do your own thing, I'll do my own thing. No, I love it.
But yeah, you have to, and sometimes it just takes a third party talking to you for you to realize what is keeping me from getting to the level of abundance that I want.
Yes.
And so, so the program goes deep into that, and we have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with the individuals that have come with me, and we've worked on their stories and it's just very eye-opening for them to realize, oh, that's what I got from my dad, because my dad always said, a penny saved is a penny earned. So now I have fear about spending. And so every time I spend, I have all these negative thoughts that come to me. And you have to, and some people, their strategy is you just have to act as if.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to say, when you get that bill for fixing your car that was unexpected, good thing I'm rich and I can pay this off.
Exactly.
Because you're like, because I don't know where I'm going to get the money to pay for this, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to go down this other rabbit hole that I will be provided for, and I'm going to always have more than enough.
More than enough.
It's always going to show up, and it shows up when I need it.
Abundant.
And and it's abundant. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I love the fact that people get to meet my friends and the people around, but I sometimes wish they could see closer. Like there's a glow on your face. You are glowing right now. You can just tell you love this and you enjoy what you're doing.
I do. I love it. I enjoy what I'm doing. I have so much fun. And this is my passion project, right? This is what I do because I work a regular job, but that's also my passion project. People are like, when are you going to retire? I'm like, I don't know. Right now I'm working on helping kids in schools and helping transition first gen kids into the university. And that's a passion of mine as well. But this is my passion and I really, really enjoy it. And I think I've been gifted this opportunity to help people think about. And to me, gratitude is an important part of manifesting abundance as well, because the more blessings you're thankful for, the more blessings you will have to be thankful for. So you have to get up every day and you have to count your blessings and you have to look at all the good that's around you. That's what helps raise your vibe.
Yes.
You can't get up every day and think of everything that's going wrong, because then you just beget more stuff going wrong.
Right.
And I tell people you have to wake up every morning with a real attitude of gratitude. To me, that's the foundation that starts it all. So you're always grateful for whatever you've been gifted. You're grateful for all of your blessings. And then you find that your blessings increase and you have more and more things, people, money, jobs, opportunities to be grateful and thankful for, because doors will just start opening for you.
Yes.
But it really helps to help yourself get into a higher vibe.
Yes, I definitely agree, because I've seen it show up in so many different ways, so many different times in my life.
Yes.
And when I see certain people going through certain situations, I always say, there for the grace of God go I.
Yes.
It's God's grace that has always saved me. But it's also just being grateful in that moment. I was laid off 8 times, but even in being laid off, I've had situations because I was positive, or because I approached that layoff in a certain way, that other opportunities opened for me. People were like, well, you know what, that situation didn't work out, but I love what you did there. I love the way you handled that situation.
Right.
Come over here. So it's expectancy to me. I go into those those situations, expecting blessings and
Yes.
expecting doors to open. And I've met so many people, great, amazing people such as yourself, just because I had a positive outlook on, and expected that opportunity to turn out wonderful.
And it does, right?
Yes.
That what you lead with is what you end up,
Yes.
it's like you reap what you sow. And
Yes.
if you're sowing positive expectations and you have this idea that everything is going to work well.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, one of my poetry books, I have a set of books. Sharifah shared that I was an author, and I'm Zulmara Maria Lima on Amazon. One of my books is Control is an Illusion.
Yes.
Because we think we're in control, but at some point you need to let go and let God, right? You need to let the grace of God.
Yes.
Because what God can do, you have to dream so big that only God can help make it happen, right?
Yes. Oh,
and
preach.
You just have to, and sometimes in our human bodies, we get this idea that we control everything, but we don't. Control is an illusion. And what you control is your attitude and your expectations and the opportunities you take advantage of. But those opportunities are constantly being put in your path. They're constantly in front of you. And what you do with them is what makes a difference. And some people will just take off and some people won't.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's just incredible. And I've even seen it in illness where you'll have somebody who's diagnosed with cancer and they do fine, and somebody else has a really hard time. And you realize that their mental state and what they believe is, again, guiding their healing process. If you believe that, this is just one more thing that I'm going to get through and I'm going to go through it and it's going to be fine, then you tend to go through the treatments and you come out of it the other end and you're fine. If you believe that, oh my gosh, this is the end of my life and I'm not going to make it, then you tend to go down that road.
Right.
But it's like your mental attitude will pick your path for you in so many different aspects of our life, relationships, health, wealth, all of those things. Where you are mentally is where you're going to end up. And you have to pick that path.
Yes, I'm telling you, we're going to have to get more people listening to you, because everything that you just said, to us, it may seem like so simple, but people don't get that. And even scripture says it is done unto you as you believe, and people tend to think that they don't have the power. And it's like, no, baby girl, you do. You have the power to create whatever life or whatever world that you want. Yeah. So that is so beautiful.
On earth as it is in heaven. Right?
Yes.
And you create your heaven here on earth.
Yes.
And that's part of your path to heaven, is creating your heaven here on earth.
Yes.
And that's why when I start Millionaire Divas, I have people think about, what is that thing you're going to do that's just between you and your God, right? That's just for you. It's not something that you're broadcasting and that other people know. This is for you in your heart, because that helps you understand your own spiritual connections.
Right.
And it helps you realize that there's something beyond this human life form that we're in. And you're honoring that, because you don't need the pat on the back. It's okay to do stuff for pats on the back, but there has to be that one thing that's just yours, right? That's just something you hold near and dear.
I believe that.
Yeah, that doesn't have to be. And then you have the ones where you're out there and you're championing the cause because the cause is important to you. Right, yes. Whatever it happens to be. And I know people who do animals. I know people who do domestic violence. Soup. I know women who set up soup kitchens. That was my mom's big thing, was feeding.
Okay.
She wanted to feed people who couldn't, and she would create feasts. She loved to do soup, and she always felt like where you can feed 10, you can feed 20. You just add a little bit more water and you add a few more vegetables. So beautiful.
Look what you come from.
You just add a little bit more water and a little bit more, we all.
But isn't that a life lesson though?
Yes.
Like there's always a way to make enough, a way to create, because it's a mindset. There will be people who, like, if you showed up at their front door and, they will say, oh, well, there's not enough, or I don't have enough. But then there are other people that even if you just showed up at their front door, they're like you said, add some more vegetables, add a little bit more water. But there's always more than enough. Yes, that's a mindset that your mom instilled through food.
Definitely, she did. Right?
I love that.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
And she said, if you only have one tea bag, you can share it. Because it's just the way she was, and she always had a table full of people.
I love that. But that's what in your childhood, I think if you hadn't had that experience, and it's energy around you, then you wouldn't be the woman you are today.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That is so beautiful.
Oh, yeah, definitely came from my mom.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, definitely came from my mom.
Now, Dr. Zulmara, we are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today.
Well, what I want to do is say thank you, first of all, for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it. And it's been fun having an opportunity to just talk to you and catch up.
Yes.
And to the audience, I just want to say it's been a pleasure. If there's anything that you've heard today that you want to follow up on, you can send me a message from my social media, or you can go on my website and you can send me a message there. I am leading a group of people to Peru in October of 2023. If you're interested, then just send me a direct message and we can chat and we can talk about whether or not this is the right opportunity for you. And as part of that, I'm also going to be doing some half moon gatherings throughout the year as a way of helping people harness the energy of the moon as they are manifesting it. It doesn't have to be the Peru trip. It can be anything. And that's going to be information on my website as well, if you're interested in that. And if you just want to talk, connect, chat, have a reading, a blessing, and a cleansing, just let me know. And you can go on my website and you can contact me that way. And thank you again. It's been a pleasure. And I really enjoyed being here with you. Namaste.
And your website again?
ZulmaraMaria.com.
Yes, Dr. Zulmara is amazing. ZulmaraMaria.com. I want to thank you for being a guest on today's episode of In the Studio with Sharifah Hardie. And I definitely want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives. I definitely appreciate your support, but please don't just watch the show. Please go ahead and share the show, because I know for a fact that someone needs to hear this message. All the information that Dr. Zulmara has shared with us today, one of your friends, one of your neighbors, one of your coworkers, a child, a spouse, a parent, I don't know who they are, but I do know they need to hear this. So go ahead and share it. If you're interested in being a guest and sitting down with me in the studio, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until next time, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.
You want to advertise your product or business? Are you fed up with conventional marketing techniques? Don't worry. Sharifah Hardie brings you the ultimate solution to promote your product on her exclusive show, In the Studio. Attract a wider and different audience of business owners and entrepreneurs. Just imagine, your product is being displayed live and archived for even more exposure. Boost exposure for your product or service. Don't miss this opportunity. Visit the website today at AskSharifah.com for commercial ads today.